Jurisprudence and Legal Theory, Lecture 7, Correlation of Rights and Duties or Relation between Rights and Duties or Rights versus Duties is the topic for discussion today. Dear friends, you are aware that I am Dr. Rega Surya Rao, Senior Professor of Law and Principal Retired Aided Law College, Maharashtra. I have been delivering lectures online for the last 2 years for the benefit of the students all over the country. Today, I wish to take up 7th lecture on Jurisprudence and Legal Theory, that is correlation between rights and duties or relation between rights and duties, rights versus duties. This is the topic, and also meaning, definition and kinds of duties is the topic for discussion today. In the last class, I explained in detail about legal right, meaning, definition, elements of right, meaning, definition, elements, categories and kinds of legal right in detail. In the last class, 2 topics out of this entire chapter was left over. One is meaning, definition and kinds of duties and correlation between rights and duties. These 2 aspects I wish to take up in this class, dear friends. This is my 143rd lecture from out of 17 subjects. Before going to take up the topic, meaning, definition and kinds of duties and correlation between rights and duties, with your kind permission, let me take 1 minute to pray God, pay homage to my reverend parents, late Rega Prabhu and late Srimati Kantaratnam, and my wife, Mrs. Tirumala Gauri, who had been in good source of help and strength in publication of so many academic ventures. She is my co-author for all my publications. With her help, I would able to accelerate my work. Now, she was passed away on 16th April 2021, leaving me alone. Despite all the hurdles, I decided to upload maximum number of lectures to cover all the subjects, because how long God blessed me, I cannot say. Particularly in the recent past, we have been witnessing worst situation due to this world disaster, COVID-19 pandemic. Don't think that we people are in the difficulties. This Rega Surya Rao is uploading the lectures, don't think. But during my life, I want to complete this giant project of 35 subjects. So far, I have completed 16 subjects. This is 17th subject. The jurisprudence is very important from examination point of view. It is a basis for all the subjects of law. That is why I will upload not less than 15 lectures on this. This is my 7th lectures on jurisprudence. Since it is lengthy chapter, it requires 2 classes. In last class, legal right, meaning, definition, categories and kinds I explained. This lecture, I wish to take up the remaining topics, that is duty, meaning, definition and kinds of duty. Duty is an obligation. Duty is an obligation. What you ought to do, you have to do. It is your duty. What you ought not to do, you should not do. It is your duty. What you ought, what you abstain from doing, you must abstain from doing. It is your obligation. That is duty. Duty is an obligation to do what you ought to do. Duty is an obligation not to do what you ought not to do. Duty is an obligation from abstaining from doing an act which you are supposed to, if you promise to abstain from doing. So, to do or not to do or to abstain from doing. Abstain from doing. This is the, so to act or act to do, not to do, and to abstain from doing. That is the reason why, well, defining consideration under section 2D of Indian Contract Act, when the promisor at the instance of promisee or any other person promises has done or abstained from doing something, or promised to do that act or abstinence or promise is called consideration. So in this particular definition, we will be able to know that in a contract there will be two parties, in certain cases more than three parties. The parties are vested with rights and obligations. The right of one party becomes the obligation or duty of another party. The right of that party will become the obligation of this party. Suppose in mortgagor, mortgagee has a duty to, if the mortgagor has a duty to repay the money and take back the property, mortgagee has the duty to receive principal money with interest and return the property. So that is how in every contract, one party will have right and other party will have duty, and other party will have right, this party will have duty. Sometimes the rights and duties are created under contract, sometimes the rights and duties are created by law. The rights and duties are created by law as per their universal rights, as in the case of law of torts, and it is also in criminal law. One is you are not supposed to cause any injury or harm or damage, or you are not supposed to kill anybody. That is if the wrong, if so, every what you ought to do, you should not do. What you ought to do, you must do. What you ought not to do, you must not do. What you have to abstain from doing, you must abstain from doing. These are the this is obligation. In case you breach your duty, you breach your obligation, you fail to perform your obligation, it results in wrong. If the wrong is of simple nature, it is a breach of contract. It is some serious nature. It may be serious nature. It may be tort. It will cause tort, some civil wrong that put you for obligation to pay damages or compensation. If the wrong is of a very serious nature, it amounts to crime, that is offense. That amounts to crime, that is offense. So this is with reference to duty. So this is the meaning of duty in duty. So duty is an obligation to do or not to do or abstain from doing anything. In a contract, rights and duties are vested with the parties. Once one party will have right, other party will have duty. That other party has right, this party will have duty. In a promissory note, debtor has duty to repay the creditor. Creditor has duty to give any property, gold if any, pledged to return him. That is his duty. If it is mortgaged one, so the mortgaged property, the creditor will have to give, that is the mortgage. So this is with reference to meeting. Similarly, the son is having duty. Son is having duty to maintain his wife, children, and aged parents. So one more thing is, you are expected to have right, provided other feels duty. You can exercise your duty. Other man feels, other man obeys law. Other man respects law. So what happened is you have land, you have empty site, you have right over it, but some gangster occupied that land. But if you approach him, he doesn't do. He will make an attempt to beat you or stab you or attempt to murder, anything. So you are a weak man, you won't be able to face him. If you go to court, court will give order to quit that land. But that fellow doesn't quit the land, but he doesn't respect law. So that is why there are instances in some time back I heard that some gangster threatened the owner of the building. He kidnapped, abducted his young daughter. You give that particular building, you register that particular building in my name. Otherwise, your daughter will be raped and killed subsequently. That news became viral. sometime back, sometime back in social media. So one, if what you ought to do, you must do. That is your duty or obligation. If you fail to perform your duty, if you breach your duty, if you non-performance of duty or failure to perform duty will result in wrong. If wrong is of simple nature, it may be breach of quasi-contract or breach of quasi-contract. If it is of more serious nature, it amounts to tort, civil liability. It will put you some compensation or something. And it is of much serious nature, it may result in a crime also. It will put you in punishment. So this is what is called duty. Similarly, as every son has the duty to give maintenance to his wife, children and parents. Similarly, not only son, daughter also will have obligation to take care of parents so far as maintenance is concerned. So this topic in maintenance is, I will take up, I already discussed in detail in family law and CRPC, these two subjects, maintenance of wife, children and everything I taught you. I explained in my lectures in CRPC and family law. So this is the thing. So here, in legal sense, duty means a legal obligation to do something or not to do something. This is simple what I have already told you. So duty definition. So the Hibbert, H-I-B-B-E-R-T, Hibbert defined duty is a predicament of a person whose acts are liable to be controlled by another with the assent and assistance of the state. So according to Hibbert, duty is some predicament. It is some inconvenient situation, embarrassing situation, difficult situation of some person whose acts are liable to be controlled by another person with the assent and assistance of the state. Suppose creditor gave 1 lakh loan to debtor. So debtor tried to avoid repayment. Debtor is silent. Before the completion of 3 years, creditor filed a case against debtor for recovery of the money. Then the court take into consideration the circumstances of the case, acknowledged the right of the creditor. Yes, he has given 1 lakh for so and so interest. This fellow is not giving. Then the court will issue decree directing the debtor to pay the 1 lakh with interest and court costs of the suit. So here the debtor is usually in a peaceful condition to avoid the liability. He has taken 1 lakh and enjoyed it and he is happy. But having received decree, received order of decree, when the creditor received the decree order and insisting the debtor to pay the amount, naturally the debtor or the judgment debtor will be in embarrassing situation. He wants to avoid the liability. He is happy. But when the court ordered him, then it is an embarrassing situation. He is embarrassing situation, and whose acts are liable to be controlled. When once the decree holder is in a decree court order, naturally the decree holder, the creditor will be able to control him. So he will be under the control of the creditor. If the assent and assistance of the assent means when once the plaintiff creditor approached the court, there is an assent of the court and assistance of the state in case he doesn't obey the decree order and will do the specific performance by repaying the amount. Again the decree holder will approach the court for follow-up action. Then the court will take up execution proceeding. The court may order for arrest of the judgment debtor and his property may be seized. All these things. That is the meaning of this particular definition. So decree, according to Hibbert, duty is a predicament. It is some embarrassing situation of a person whose acts are liable to be controlled by another person with the assent and assistance of the state. That is the definition given by Hibbert. a distinguished jurist. Our Salmon, the one more definition is given by the Salmon. There are so many definitions there, friend. I give you one or two very limited definition. Other definitions, if any, you can by heart from other sources. Salmon. According to Salmon, a duty, roughly speaking, an act one ought to do, and an act the opposite of which would be wrong. So according to Salmon, he roughly speaking, duty is an act one ought to do. If he doesn't do it, it amounts to wrong. So what you ought to do, you should do. If you don't do it, it amounts to wrong on your part. If it is a single wrong, the consequences are less. It may be some breach of contract, breach of quasi contract, etc. It is more serious. It may be tort or breach of trust. It may be much more serious. It may be negligent act under section 304A, crime punishable up to 3 years imprisonment and compensation. It is a much more serious crime. Because of the breach of duty, somebody lost his life, and more punishment will be given. So this is the position. So according to Salmon, roughly speaking, duty is duty is an act one ought to do. If he doesn't do it, it amounts to wrong. That is the difference. Failure to perform duty amounts to civil wrong or crime. The breach of breach of contract, breach of quasi contract, breach of trust or crime, all these things. So this is the meaning and definition of duty. Dear friend, next one is kinds of duties. There are 5 kinds of duties. One is universal, general and particular duties. Second one is moral and legal duties. Third one is primary and secondary duties. Fourth one is positive and negative duties. And fifth most important category is relative and absolute duty, basing on which whether rights and duties are correlative or not is based. Let's coming to first one, universal, general and particular duties. Universal duties are we are now in a global village. There are so many international relations are there. There is an international authority called United Nations Organization. There will be General Assembly and other specialized agencies, Security Council, International Court of Justice and all. But there will be a world code called International Court of Justice. In that particular International Court of Justice, customary principles of international law are to be applied. How customary principles are applied in local law and territorial law, the customary principles of international law also are to be strictly adhered to. These are the customary principles of international law at global level are called universal principles of customary international law. Then there will be some treaty obligations will be there, unilateral treaty, bilateral treaty, multilateral treaty, and United Nations Convention on Law of the Sea, United Nations Convention on Environment, environmental pollution or environmental degradation, airspace, outer space, whatnot. So many international issues will be there. They will be decided in international conferences called conventions and other protocols. These aspects I will take up in international law, public international law different. Now that is the thing. Universal laws are laws. Universal duty is duty that is binding on that is binding universally. What are the duties imposed by the UN General Assembly in its meeting? And these duties are binding on all member states. So that type of duties which are binding at a global level, at a national level also, certain duties are there imposed by state. They are binding on all the people irrespective of citizens and non-citizens. Second one is the general duty. General duties are the duties that are imposed against particular classes of people, and particular duties are universal duties are binding everywhere, all over the world or all over the country, irrespective of nationality, sex, race, religion, community and all. Those duties are to be binding on all the people, irrespective of within the state and outside the state. They are universal duties. General duties are pertaining to particular classes of people. For example, Hindu Marriage Act is a general law. Hindu Marriage Act is applicable to Hindus only. But in Hindu marriage, a Dowry Prohibition Act is there. That is a special act is there. That is the Dowry Prohibition Act is applied when the case is filed in a special court, family court. Special laws are applied in family courts. If a general law of Hindu Marriage Act is applied, if the suit is filed in a district court, that is applied. So like this, general law general is applied to a particular class of people. Particularly is applied to if an agreement is entered into between two parties, debtor and creditor, and purchaser and seller, mortgager and mortgagee, lessor and lessee, and the terms and conditions, the particular law will be applicable to what are the rules of mortgage, what are the rules of lease, what are the rules of exchange. All these things are applicable to the parties concerned as per the particular law. So the rights and duties are the rights of mortgagor will become the duties of mortgagee. The duties of mortgagee will become the rights of mortgagor. Similarly, seller, buyer, similarly, lessor, all these things. So, universal laws are, universal duties are duties that are binding at global, binding at community at large or public at large. They are universally applied. General laws are applicable to a particular community. But particular laws are applicable to the parties to the contract, parties to some agreement entered into by them or among them. This is universal, general and particular duties. Second one is moral and legal duties. What is moral duty? What is legal duty? I have already told you. Legal duty means any duty imposed under law passed by the legislature, under law, that is legal duty. Duties that are created under law passed by legislature, central legislature, state legislature are legal duties. If the duties created by the constitution, they are also duties, they are also legal duties. And part 4A of Indian Constitution imposes certain duties on the citizens of the country. They are also legal duties. Legal duties, right to salute national flag, national integration. If required, one must get prepared to go to war. All these things. One's duty to join army if necessary. All these things are there. Fundamental duties are explained in detail, dear friends. Next, moral duty. Moral duty means out of the principle of morality, in discharge of quasi-contractual obligation, a person is expected to have some duty. So generally duties are created out of an agreement between the parties. It may be oral agreement or written agreement. Sometimes out of the principle of morality, naturally some duties are imposed. For example, one guest visited my home. After having interaction with me for half an hour, he returned, he went back and leaving his bag containing 1 lakh. When he left the bag containing 1 lakh, I have a duty. I have moral duty to call him, keep the bag in safe custody and will hand over to him. That is moral duty. When we are going when we are sitting in a bus stand or railway station waiting for the bus or train, our co-passenger went outside and left the bag. It is our moral duty to take care of that bag and hand over it to that bus station master or station train master, or I must make necessary efforts to find out the real owner and hand over that bag. But I am not supposed to take that bag and enjoy the contents therein. So that duty is called moral duty, legal duty and moral duty. First one is primary duty and secondary duty. Primary duty is independent duty. Secondary duty is that duty to implement the primary duty, to enforce the primary duty. Primary duty. For example, I have a duty not to cause any harm. When I drive the vehicle on the road, I have a duty not to cause any harm, and all the bystanders must be safe when I drive the vehicle. All following vehicles and opposite vehicles must be safe. They should not get any damage from my driving. That duty is the primary duty. In case I drive the vehicle negligently and cause damage to any bystander and opposite vehicle or following vehicle, and somebody suffered any property loss or personal loss, I have a duty to pay compensation or damages. So duty to take care is the primary duty. To make payment or compensation is a secondary duty. So the secondary duty is that duty to implement or enforce the primary duty. Similarly, the banker is having the primary duty to receive deposits and pay and give loans. And his secondary duty is to collect checks, maintain safe deposit vaults, purchase and sell shares, purchase and sell properties on behalf of the customer. So the primary duty is borrowing and lending. The secondary duties are many, that is collection of checks, public utility services, agency services, etc. are the secondary duties. Fourth one is positive duty and negative duty. Positive duty and negative duty. Suppose we are now in the have been facing the disaster of corona pandemic. If government will direct, if the state government directs all the doctors who are prosecuting medical courses, even though 4th year students and 5th year students and nursing schools, if the government asks them, direct them to attend discharge some duties there with their limited knowledge, because there is a shortage of doctors and medical staff, paramedical staff, and the government asks them to go and attend duties for some fixed remuneration. There is a duty on the part of the medical students, final year medical student, 3rd year, and house surgeons, and also a nursing school student to attend the duties. That duty is positive duty. That duty is positive duty. Similarly, creditors' duty to debtors' duty to repay the money is positive duty. Purchaser's duty is to pay money is positive duty. Seller's duty to deliver the property is positive duty. Negative duty. What are the negative duty? If the state tells you not to do certain things, that is negative duty. When 144 section is there, you are not supposed to gather as per the rules. That is when curfew is imposed, you are not supposed to come out. When the government is consistently stressing you not to come out unless it is very essential in prescribed periods only, lockdown period, that is negative duty. That is the negative duty. Negative duty is the next. Fifth one is relative and absolute duties. Now the duties are 5 kinds. One is universal, general, and particular duties. Second one is moral and legal duty. The third one is primary and secondary duty. Fourth one is positive and negative duty. Fifth one is relative and absolute duty. What is relative? Austin has categorized duties into 2 categories. One is relative duty and other is absolute duty. According to Austin, relative duties will have corresponding duties. Relative duties will have corresponding rights. Absolute duties do not have corresponding rights. In all contracts, one party will have duty and other party will have corresponding right. In all transactions, all contracts, there are so many cases. There are in case of relative duties, corresponding rights are there, opposite rights are there. But for absolute duties, corresponding rights are not there. So, for example, duty to pray God. Well, everybody has the duty to pray God, but the God has no right to ask him. So, everybody has the duty to oblige the orders of the government. The government or the king or sovereign, being ruler, he doesn't have any right. He is not vested with any right. He doesn't have any right. So like that, certain duties are there. That is the contention of Austin. So according to Austin, duties are 2 categories. One is relative duty. And other is one is relative duty, which is having the corresponding right. Other is absolute duty, which doesn't have corresponding right. So these absolute duties are 4 categories. Duty towards God and lower animal. Duty towards duties owned towards persons indefinitely. Self-regarding duties towards state and sovereign, 4 kinds. So Austin categorized duties in general into 2 categories. One is relative duty, other is absolute duty. Relative duty will have corresponding right. Absolute duty doesn't have corresponding right. He subdivided absolute duty into 4 categories. Number 1, duty towards God and lower animal. There is no corresponding right. So second one is duty towards duties owned to persons indefinitely. indefinitely. But seller has a duty towards purchaser, purchaser has a duty towards seller. When you are driving the vehicle, against whom you owe duty. That is the question. Tell that in certain cases, against whom one person having duty, against whom he is having right. It is not self-regarding duties. Right to live, right to die, right to livelihood. But I can have right a person in one person. To have two right and duty, there must be at least two persons. There are certain cases, certain duties are there in a very vested in one person. How can you have right and duty in one person? That is his contention. Like that, certain duties are towards state or sovereign government or king. But the people are having duty towards king or crown or sovereign. But how can he have duty? How can the king or crown can have right? That is his contention, and Austin tells that rights and duties are not correlative in this particular case. So these are the fifth category of duties: relative duties and absolute duties. Relative duties will have corresponding rights, absolute duties do not have corresponding rights. Then Austin contends that it is not. Now the crucial question is, the most important question from examination point of view is whether rights and duties are correlative. Relation between rights and duties. Rights and duties are correlative. Rights versus duties is the question. There had been a conflict of opinion as to the question whether rights and duties are correlative or not. There has been a conflict of opinion whether rights and duties are correlative or not. Some answered the question in affirmative, others answered the question in negative. Salmond answered the question in affirmative, Austin answered the question in negative. This means Salmond enunciates that rights and duties are correlative. Austin tells that rights and duties are not correlative. According to Salmond, rights and duties are correlative. So there is no, if there is no question of duty, if there is no right. If there is no question of right, there is no duty. Rights and duties are corresponding, causally connected, interrelated to each other, because if there is no duty, there is no right. If there is no right, there is no duty. Right? Suppose there is no question of a child without mother. Without mother or parent, there is no question of a husband without wife. So husband we are telling means wife is there. Wife we are telling means husband is there. Child we are telling parent is there. Parent we are telling child is there. So this is just like some bond. There is some bond of ionic bond is there between right and duty. Ionic bond, just like ionic bond, there is a right and duty is there. This is the contention of thing. This is what is called, according to Salmond, rights and duty involves a bond of legal obligation, that is vinculum juris. Vinculum juris, by which two or more persons are bound together. Two or more persons are bound together. It is a marriage. It is a process of marriage that connect to one man and woman. Woman got tied with that bond of relationship. Bond of relationship to live together throughout the life. This is what is called the contention of Salmond. Salmond tells that rights and duties are correlative. There is no question of duty without right. There is no question of right without duty. Just like there is no husband without wife, or no wife without husband, no child without parent, or no parent. Rights and duties involves a bond of legal obligation, that is what is called vinculum juris, by which two or more persons are bound together. That is the contention of this thing. So for example, in a contract of sale, purchaser and seller will have rights and duties mutually. In mortgage, mortgagor and mortgagee will have rights and duties mutually. In contract of lease, lessor and lessee will have rights and duties mutually. All these things are there. That is why he says that rights and duties are correlated. Similarly, debtor and creditor. No. But Austin tells that no, rights and duties are not correlative. Rights and duties are not correlative. Salmond, Austin categorized duties into two categories. One is relative duties, other is absolute duties. Relative duties are all duties which are having correspondent right. What Salmond said, accordingly, for every right there is a duty, for every duty there is a right, provided it is a relative duty. Only relative duties are having rights and duties which are correlative. but absolute duties do not have any correlative. Then Austin gave clarification of clarification that there are four categories of absolute duties. What are the four categories of absolute duties? Duties towards God and lower animals. Second one is duties owned to persons indefinitely towards society. Nextly, duties toward self and self-regarding duties. Fourth one is duties towards king and sovereign. These are the four categories of absolute duties. According to Austin, duties are two categories. One is relative duties, other is absolute duties. Relative duties will have corresponding rights, but absolute duties do not have any corresponding rights. They are duties towards God and lower animals. Second one is duty owned to persons indefinitely. Third one, self-regarding duties. Fourth one, duties towards the sovereign or state. This is the contention. Now, duty towards God and lower animal. So we people, we are worshipping God. We have duty to worship God. We have duty to worship God. But can you say that God has right to ask us to worship Him? No, that is his contention. But Solomon says that it is not correct to say connect between God and human beings. It is God and human beings. We cannot say that. There are so many laws are there. Article 28 to 25 to 28 of Indian Constitution make provision for freedom of religion. Freedom of religion. There are so many issues relating to this freedom of religion related to worship of God. And secondly, the secular state, the constitutional amendment, by constitutional amendment, the word sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic was added. And in Constitution 42, originally the word socialist to secular were not there in Indian Constitution. The word socialist and secular were added. Socialist in the senses, socialist, what is socialist, what is capitalistic, what is mixed, I explained in detail in Constitution, dear friend. The word socialist refers to the government will take all necessary efforts to bring about governmental organization so that goods, commodities and services can be made available at lowest rates. So they wanted to they want to make everything available through the government so that the goods, commodities and services can be made possible to the government. There was a declaration in 1950s also. The government wanted to make all public limited undertakings to ensure the welfare of the to welfare state, but practically we don't have any socialism. Socialistic pattern of the society. Practically in view of urbanization and privatization, we are facing socialistic pattern of society, because even 90% of the employment is being contributed by the private sector. Even 10% is getting privatized. Recent past we are witnessing that railways are likely to be privatized. So many government of India undertakings like Visakhapatnam steel plant and other things are proposed to be implemented. And at the time of constitution, our center made assured that to bring about a socialistic pattern of the society and to establish a public sector, to improve the public sector. But on the other hand, in India, the private sector is being promoted and public sector is getting diminished day by day in view of urbanization and all, and concentration of economic power is getting improved day by day. These are the issues I explained in economics, and other classes also I explained, dear friend. This is with reference to this. So here duties towards God and God is God. We cannot say that God has right to this thing. That is entirely different. But there are provisions in the Indian Constitution providing freedom of religion, because in India our Indian state is secular, because no religion is our national religion. Peacock is our national bird. Tricolored flag is our national flag. Tiger is our national animal. But no religion is our national religion. because every religion is having freedom of its own. So this is why we cannot compare this particular thing and condemn the statement of Austin, and so proceeded that rights and duties are correlative. This Austin's contention with reference to the first point is not correct. Second point is duties owned to persons indefinitely. When you are driving the vehicle on the road, you have to take duty. But Austin tells that against whom you have to take duty. So it is not in seller and in a contract of purchase or sale, seller owes duty towards purchaser, purchaser owes towards seller. In mortgage, mortgager owes duty towards mortgagee, mortgagee will owes duty towards mortgager. In lessor owes duty towards lessee, lessee owes duty towards lessee. When you are going on the road, you are supposed to have some duty, observe some duty. Against whom you have to owe duty? There is no any specific person, and this is absolute duty. And in law of torts, the duties are absolute. But however, there will be corresponding rights will arise depending upon the circumstances of the case. When you drive the vehicle, you are expected to take duty towards bystanders, opposite vehicles, following vehicle. When you are supplying milk in entire town, every consumer, you owe duty towards every consumer of your milk. When you extend supply of milk produced in entire district, you owe duty of care towards all the consumers in entire district. If the supply is extended to entire state, you owe duty towards each and every customer. But you cannot say that whether the customer in your place or a customer in the next city and the customer in capital city owe duty of care. You cannot say. The situation of owing duty towards a particular person will come into consideration depending upon the circumstances of the case, is what Austin tells. So duty owing to owe duty toward person indefinitely is absolute duty. We cannot say. The corresponding right will arise depending upon the situation of the case. In law of torts, the defendant owes duty of care towards the person. This view was coined by Lord Atkin in Donegal versus Stevenson, case. That I explained in detail in law of torts, negligence chapter, dear friend. Next one is self-regarding duty. Right to live, right to live, right to die, right to live, right to die, right to livelihood. But a person is having some personal rights. So when you are having personal rights, so there is nobody to have some corresponding duties. So because rights and duties are vested in one person only, there is no any other person. That is the contention. I have right to live mean I have to do. I have duty to take every care that I must live. Nobody will take the responsibility of duty for my life, for my liberty and all. So there are certain cases in which rights and duties are this thing. A person one's own life, there is no the corresponding right from one's own life. So here now if I have right, I have duty to live, but there is no any corresponding right. Both right and to have right and duty, minimum two persons are there. In one person, right and duty cannot be there. That is the contention. Anyway, right to live is guaranteed under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Right to liberty is guaranteed under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution. Subsequently, after post-Manka Gate, so many items have been included in Article 21. But however, there is a duty. If anybody attempts to die suicide under 511 of Indian Indian Penal Code, he will be punished for attempt to die. So that is the punishment. Suppose if anybody attempts to die and he is survived, and she is liable for punishment under section 511 of the Indian Constitution. So this Austin's contention is not correct. Similarly, last one, this is third one. So Austin's views occur. Next, duty towards sovereign king or sovereign or state. So sovereign means supreme. supreme. When supremo, our king in olden days, our government, maybe chief minister or prime minister, if they make any order, rule, these rules, orders are binding on us. We must strictly obey that. So we have duty. What chief minister orders some GO, it is binding on the people. All the people must obey that. If Prime Minister passes an order, it is binding on all the people. Nobody can question. But we cannot question that. Do you have any right to take action on that? We cannot question, because the king or sovereign, being ruler of the ruler is vested with commands only, orders only. He is not vested. He is not the holder of rights. So that is the contention. So in this particular case, rights are there, duties are there, rights are there, not there. So Austin tells, but Solomon said, you are not supposed, you can't expect, you can't choose the best of two words in a particular thing. When once the authority, supremo, is vested with sovereign power, you can expect his orders and to be binding or to be obliged by the people. But we cannot expect the sovereign supremo being to be the holder of the rights. That is the contention of the Solomon. These are the various issues. In the light of all these analysis, agreement, we can say that rights and duties are correlative. Solomon's view is correct. Austin's view is not correct. With this topic has been completed, dear friends. So far, I have given 7 lectures on jurisprudence. Jurisprudence is a very good subject. After this, I will take up very important topics. Legal personality, I will take a legal personality of idle, dead person, corporation, etc. This is also very important question. Sources of law, custom, precedent, legislation, and ownership position. And then I will take up schools, most important topic. I will take up schools at the end. I will give as many as possible lectures I will give. Dear friends, we are in a serious danger. People are telling corona, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, so many things they are telling. In every family, so many near and dear. So many people lost their nears and dear. In one family, 2-3 persons died. Though not corona, my wife, I also lost my wife due to this cancer for the last 2. Under a very difficult situation, though my wife had been suffering from this cancer, kidney cancer, since March 2019. Under lot of difficulties, I am doing this. So I am taking this project very, very, very serious, because it is my life ambition to deliver lectures on 35 subjects. Those who utilize my lectures can have very good knowledge. I can give you in writing on 100 rupees stamp paper. Those students having good vocabulary, minimum English vocabulary, watch my lectures, listen to my lectures 2 or 3 times, straight away with law degree they can start practice, set up practice in High Court or Supreme Court. They will be well appreciated. In fact, you don't think that we are in problems. To forget the present situation and problems, I sincerely suggest you to make use of my lectures, and suggest you to watch some comedy channels so that you can laugh and forget this troubles around you. So I am doing my best, because in spite of now I want to accelerate the uploading of lectures, because how long God blessed me I cannot say. In my lifetime I want to complete the project. I am praying God give me maximum life with enough strength to complete 300 lectures in the first instant. I will be able to complete 30 subjects, 340 for 35 more subjects, and if I complete even maybe 500 lectures or even 1000 lectures for CA, ICWA, CSP law, everything I will do. I have decided to dedicate my life for this, because God gave me this opportunity, dear friends. I am not expecting any income or anything. This is, I am sincerely telling. I wholeheartedly am telling you, I am the one and only after retirement not doing job. All my friends who retired earlier and who retired after me are put up in very good jobs with handsome salaries. Not only my colleagues who retired earlier or after to me, my teachers of 70 to 80 years of age are also have been working in different places as vice chancellors, emeritus professors and deans and everything. So I have taken this as a challenge because undertaking 35 subjects is not a joke with update developments. So if you make use of my lectures, my lectures are very good opportunity, I can strongly say. So those my even before completion of this lecture, I don't know many points here. So if you can make use of my lecture, you can have wonderful knowledge, dear friend. I am planning to deliver lectures in Telugu also. There is a lot of demand from my friends of Telugu states to upload lectures on Telugu. Now I am planning to give lectures useful not only to Telugu people but also for people in general. I will take up first family law, Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu marriage, next maintenance of Hindu maintenance of Hindu woman, obligation of Hindu male to feed his wife, children and parents, and divorce, restitution of conjugal rights, adoption, maintenance. These topics I will take in the first instance. Then I will take up contracts 1, contracts 2, constitutional law, IPC, and also from contracts 1, constitutional contracts 2, I will proceed to company law, insurance and other commercial laws, so that they will be useful to BCom students also. I am very unhappy that I don't know Hindi. You just examine the value of the subject. If were I able to speak Hindi, I would have given lectures in Hindi also, so that I can have a lot of thousands of lakhs and millions of views. I would able to get some income also. But only English I am doing. But most of the people are not entertaining the English language. So Hindi language views will be very good. But I physically witnessed in so many states, though they are number one officers, topmost government officers, they never use English. They use their local language only. But if I will be able to speak Hindi. What I will be able to communicate, I can communicate in Hindi, Marathi, but I cannot maintain speed. I cannot make use of it. I cannot have fluency. That is why I am keeping quiet. Thank you very much, dear friends. Wish you all success. God bless you. And minimum 1 lecture in a week I will upload. I will try to upload 2 lectures in a week, and I will deliver 1 or 2 lectures in Hindi. In every week I am going to deliver 2 lectures in Telugu language, 2 lectures in English language. I am planning at least 1 lecture in English and 1 lecture in Telugu. But this English lecture is jurisprudence and Telugu lecture will be different. First I take up family law, and whatever subjects I had already uploaded in English, I will take up in Telugu. I am planning, dear friend. Wish you all success. God bless you. Thank you.